Hello and welcome back to English in Advance. I am your host, Jessica, and I am so incredibly happy to have you here with me today. Today's episode is going to be very special because we are not just learning grammar or memorizing lists of vocabulary. Instead, we are going to slow down, take a deep breath, and talk about something that is important for every single human being. We are talking about self-care and mental wellness. This is a topic that is close to my heart because learning a language can be stressful, and life in general can be very busy and overwhelming. So today we are going to learn the English vocabulary and phrases you need to express your feelings, talk about your mental health, and practice being kind to yourself. This is a listening practice designed for B1 and B2 learners, which means I will speak clearly and naturally, just like a friend talking to you in a coffee shop, so that you can improve your listening skills while also finding some peace and calm in your day. Let's start by defining what we mean when we say self-care. You might have heard this word on social media or in movies, and sometimes people think self-care is just about taking a bubble bath or buying expensive things. But actually, self-care is much deeper than that. Self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve your own health, and this includes your mental health. When we talk about mental health, we are talking about our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. So when you are learning English, it is very useful to know how to describe these internal states. For example, have you ever felt like you have too much to do and not enough time to do it? In English, we call this feeling being overwhelmed. To be overwhelmed means you feel like a wave of water is crashing over you because the pressure is too high. You might say to a friend, "I have so much work to do this week, I feel completely overwhelmed." Let's try to practice that sentence together in your head or out loud. I feel completely overwhelmed. It is a very common feeling, and admitting it is the first step to feeling better. Another very important concept in mental wellness is the idea of burnout. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. Imagine a candle that is burned all the way down, and there is no wax left. That is burnout. If you are studying English for 5 hours every day without a break, you might experience burnout. You might say, "I need to take a break from studying because I am close to burnout." It is crucial to recognize these signs. When we talk about mental wellness, we often talk about checking in with ourselves. Checking in is a phrasal verb that means to ask yourself how you are feeling. It is like a status update for your emotions. You can ask yourself, "How am I feeling right now? Am I tired? Am I anxious? Am I happy?" This simple act of checking in can help you manage your stress levels. Speaking of stress, let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. Everyone feels anxious sometimes. Maybe you feel anxious before a job interview, or maybe you feel anxious when you have to speak English on the phone. That is completely normal. In English, we often use the phrase butterflies in my stomach to describe mild anxiety. If you are nervous about a presentation, you can say, "I have butterflies in my stomach." But sometimes anxiety is stronger. You might feel your heart racing, which means your heart is beating very fast. When you feel this way, it is helpful to use grounding techniques. To ground yourself means to connect yourself back to the present moment and the physical world, so you stop getting lost in your worried thoughts. A simple grounding technique is to look around the room and name 5 things you can see. This brings your focus back to the here and now. This brings us to a beautiful word that is very popular in the wellness community, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. It means paying full attention to what you are doing right now, without judgment. If you are drinking a cup of tea, mindfulness means you are thinking only about the warmth of the cup, the smell of the tea, and the taste. You are not thinking about your email or your homework. You are just being. We often say we want to be present. Being present is the opposite of being distracted. When you practice listening to this podcast, you are practicing mindfulness because you are focusing your attention on my voice and the meaning of the words. If your mind wanders, which means your thoughts drift away to other things, that is okay. Just gently bring your attention back to the audio. This act of bringing your attention back is a muscle you can build, just like lifting weights at the gym. Now let's discuss the importance of boundaries. In the context of mental health, a boundary is a limit or a rule you set for yourself within relationships to protect your energy. For example, if you have a friend who always calls you very late at night when you are trying to sleep, you might need to set a boundary. You could say, "I cannot answer calls after 10 in the evening because I need to sleep." Setting boundaries is a form of self-care. It is okay to say no. In fact, learning to say no politely is a very high-level English skill. You do not always have to say yes to every request. You can say, "I would love to help, but I do not have the capacity right now." The word capacity here means the mental or emotional space or energy. It is a very professional and polite way to protect your mental wellness. Another aspect of self-care is gratitude. Gratitude is the quality of being thankful and readiness to show appreciation. Research shows that practicing gratitude can actually change your brain and make you happier. A common practice is keeping a gratitude journal. A journal is like a diary where you write down your thoughts. In a gratitude journal, you write down 3 things you are thankful for every day. They could be small things. For instance, "I am grateful for the sunshine today," or "I am grateful for this hot coffee." When we express gratitude in English, we often use phrases like, "I am so thankful for," or "I really appreciate." For example, you could say to a supportive friend, "I really appreciate you listening to me." It makes people feel good, and it makes you feel good too. Let's move on to talking about our inner voice. We all have a voice in our heads that comments on what we do. Sometimes this voice can be negative. We call this the inner critic. Your inner critic might say things like, "Your English is terrible," or "You will never be fluent." Part of mental wellness is learning to quiet the inner critic and replace it with positive affirmations. An affirmation is a positive statement that you repeat to yourself to challenge negative thoughts. For example, instead of saying, "I am bad at English," you can say, "I am improving a little bit every day," or "I am brave for trying to learn a new language." Let's try saying that together. "I am brave for trying." It is important to be kind to yourself. We often use the phrase, "give yourself a break." This does not just mean taking a holiday. It means stop being so hard on yourself. If you make a mistake in grammar, give yourself a break. It is part of the learning process. In the journey of self-care, we also talk a lot about routine. A routine is a sequence of actions that you do regularly. Having a healthy morning routine can set the tone for the entire day. For some people, a good morning routine includes stretching, drinking water, and reading a few pages of a book. For others, it might include meditation. Meditation is a practice where you use a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. You might say, I meditate for 10 minutes every morning to clear my head. The phrase clear my head is very common. It means to get rid of confusion or worry. Sometimes going for a walk in nature is the best way to clear your head. Let's talk about the concept of resilience. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It is mental toughness. When you are learning English, you need resilience. You will have days where you feel like you are not making progress. You might feel discouraged. To be discouraged means to have lost your confidence or enthusiasm. But if you are resilient, you bounce back. To bounce back is a phrasal verb that means to recover well after a setback. A setback is a problem that delays your progress. So if you fail a test, that is a setback. But if you study hard and try again, you are bouncing back. You are showing resilience. Building resilience is a huge part of mental wellness because life will always have challenges. But it is how we respond to those challenges that matters. We should also discuss the physical aspect of mental wellness because our mind and body are connected. Sleep is essential. If you are sleep deprived, which means you are not getting enough sleep, your mental health will suffer. You will feel irritable. Irritable means you get annoyed or angry very easily. Have you ever felt grumpy just because you were tired? That is irritability. So prioritizing sleep is a form of self-care. We also talk about nutrition and movement. You do not have to run a marathon, but moving your body releases endorphins. Endorphins are chemicals in the brain that act as natural painkillers and mood elevators. So even a short walk can help you feel happier. You might hear people say, I need to blow off some steam. This idiom means doing something active to get rid of stress or anger. For example, I went for a run to blow off some steam. Let's go deeper into the idea of emotional vocabulary. In beginner English, we learn words like happy, sad, and angry. But at the B1 and B2 levels, we want to be more specific. Instead of just saying sad, you might feel melancholic, which is a gentle, lingering sadness. Or you might feel lonely, which is sadness because you have no friends or company. Instead of just saying happy, you might feel content. To be content means to be in a state of peaceful happiness. You are satisfied with what you have. You are not rushing for more. Contentment is a wonderful goal for mental wellness. Another great word is optimistic. To be optimistic means to be hopeful and confident about the future. The opposite is pessimistic, which means tending to see the worst aspect of things. When you are working on your mental health, you are trying to cultivate a more optimistic outlook. Cultivate here means to try to acquire or develop a quality or skill. You can cultivate patience, you can cultivate kindness, and you can cultivate optimism. Sometimes self-care means asking for help. In many cultures, asking for help is seen as a weakness, but actually it is a strength. It takes courage to admit you cannot do everything alone. You might need to reach out to a friend, a family member, or a professional like a therapist. A therapist is a person trained to help people deal with mental or emotional problems. In English, we often use the phrase to vent. To vent means to express a strong emotion, such as anger. To release it, you might call your best friend and say, "Can I vent for 5 minutes? I had a really hard day." This is a healthy way to process emotions, as long as you do not stay stuck in the negativity. It helps to get it off your chest. To get something off your chest is an idiom that means to say something that has been worrying you so that you feel better. Let's reflect on the pace of our lives. We live in a fast-paced world. Everything is instant. But mental wellness often requires us to slow down. We need to find balance. Work-life balance is a term used to describe the division of one's time and focus between working and family or leisure activities. If you work too much, your balance is off. You might feel drained. Drained means completely without energy, like a battery that is at 0%. To recharge, you need to disconnect. Disconnecting usually means turning off your phone, computer, and social media. We call this a digital detox. A detox is a process or period of time in which one abstains from or rids the body of toxic or unhealthy substances. A digital detox helps clear your mind. You might say, "I am taking a digital detox this weekend, so I won't be checking my messages." Another interesting concept is the comfort zone. Your comfort zone is a psychological state in which things feel familiar to a person, and they are at ease and in control of their environment, experiencing low levels of anxiety and stress. While the comfort zone is safe, sometimes we need to step out of it to grow. However, for self-care, returning to your comfort zone can be healing. It is like wrapping yourself in a warm blanket. It is okay to retreat to your comfort zone when you are feeling fragile. Fragile means easily broken or damaged, but in an emotional sense, it means feeling vulnerable or sensitive. If you are having a fragile day, be gentle with yourself. Do not push yourself to do difficult things. Just do what makes you feel safe. Let's talk about the word empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. When you are kind to yourself, that is self-empathy. But empathy for others also improves our own wellness because it connects us to people. When someone tells you they are having a hard time, you can say, "I hear you, and I understand why you feel that way." This is validating their feelings. To validate means to recognize or affirm the validity or worth of a person's emotions. We all want to feel validated. We want to know that our feelings make sense. If you are sad and someone says, "Don't be sad, be happy," that is invalidating. It does not help. But if they say, "It makes sense that you are sad," that is a difficult situation. You feel understood. And that connection is very healing. Now, I want to discuss the idea of perfectionism. Perfectionism is the refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. Many English learners are perfectionists. They want to speak without any accent and without any grammar mistakes. But perfectionism can be very damaging to your mental health. It creates high anxiety. The antidote to perfectionism is self-compassion. Self-compassion is simply being kind to yourself when you fail or make mistakes. Instead of trying to be perfect, try to be good enough. There is a phrase in English, "Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good." This means that if you insist on perfection, you might never finish anything or you might never even start. Just speaking and communicating is good enough. Celebrate your small wins. A win is a success. If you learned 5 new words today, that is a win. If you understood this podcast, that is a huge win. Celebrating these moments releases dopamine in your brain, which is the chemical associated with pleasure and reward. As we continue this calm practice, pay attention to your breathing. Is your breathing shallow, meaning only in your chest, or is it deep in your belly? Deep breathing is a tool you can use anywhere, anytime. In English, we say, take a deep breath in and let it out. Let's try to visualize stress leaving the body. To visualize means to form a mental image of something. Close your eyes for a second if it is safe to do so. Visualize a blue light filling your body with calm and a gray smoke leaving your body with stress. This is a visualization technique. It is very powerful for relaxation. Relaxation is the state of being free from tension and anxiety. We all need more relaxation in our lives. Let's also talk about hobbies. A hobby is an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure. Hobbies are vital for mental wellness because they give us a sense of purpose outside of work or study. Maybe your hobby is painting or gardening or cooking. These are therapeutic activities. Therapeutic means having a good effect on the body or mind, or contributing to a sense of well-being. Cooking a nice meal can be therapeutic. Digging in the garden can be therapeutic. It gets you into a state of flow. Flow is a mental state where you are fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, full involvement and enjoyment in the process of the activity. When you are in a flow state, you lose track of time. You forget your worries. Finding an activity that gives you this flow state is a great strategy for mental health. We should also touch upon the environment you are in. Your physical space affects your mental space. If your room is messy and cluttered, your mind might feel cluttered too. Cluttered means filled with a messy collection of things. Decluttering or cleaning up and organizing can make you feel more in control. It is a simple act of self-care. You can say, I am going to declutter my desk today to help me focus. A clean space can lead to a clear mind. It is about creating an environment that supports your well-being. This might also include lighting. Soft, warm lighting is more relaxing than harsh, bright, fluorescent lights. Creating a cozy atmosphere helps you relax. Cozy means giving a feeling of comfort, warmth, and relaxation. We all love a cozy corner to read a book or listen to a podcast. Let's review some of the key adjectives we have used today to describe feelings. We have used overwhelmed, anxious, drained, irritable, content, optimistic, and fragile. These are excellent B2 level words that will help you express yourself more precisely. Instead of just saying, I am fine, you can say, actually, I am feeling a bit drained today. This authenticity helps you connect with others. Authenticity is the quality of being real and true. People appreciate authenticity. When you are honest about your struggles, it gives other people permission to be honest about theirs too. Another important strategy is limiting negative inputs. We consume so much information every day. If you are constantly reading sad news or watching scary movies, it can affect your mood. Being mindful of what you consume is part of self-care. You can choose to listen to uplifting music or read inspiring stories. Uplifting means morally or spiritually elevating or inspiring happiness or hope. This podcast, I hope, is uplifting for you. It is designed to be a gentle, positive space. We often talk about a safe space. A safe space is a place or environment in which a person can feel confident that they will not be exposed to discrimination, criticism, harassment, or any other emotional harm. Your home should be a safe space. Your mind should also be a safe space for yourself. As we go deeper into our session, think about one small thing you can do for yourself today. It does not have to be big. Maybe it is drinking a glass of water. Maybe it is going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it is calling a friend. These small acts add up. We call this the compound effect. Small actions done consistently over time lead to big results. This is true for learning English, and it is true for mental wellness. Consistency is key. Consistency means acting in the same way over time. You cannot just practice self-care once a year and expect to feel great. It has to be a habit. A habit is a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. We want to build positive habits. I want you to know that you are doing a great job. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. A marathon is a long-distance race, while a sprint is a short, fast race. It takes time, patience, and endurance. There will be ups and downs. Ups and downs is a common phrase meaning good times and bad times. During the downs, remember to be your own best friend. Talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. You would not tell a friend they are stupid for making a mistake, so do not say it to yourself. Practice self-love. It sounds simple, but it is one of the hardest things to learn. As we continue on this journey, I want to explore even more deeply the landscape of our minds and how we can use English to navigate it. We will talk about dealing with change, the power of habits, the nuance of emotions, and how to find balance in a chaotic world. My goal is for you to finish this episode feeling not only smarter in English, but also lighter in your heart. Let us begin by talking about change. Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher, once said that the only constant in life is change. This means that everything changes all the time. For many of us, change is scary. It creates uncertainty. But in mental wellness, we learn to practice adaptability. Adaptability is the quality of being able to adjust to new conditions. Being adaptable is like being water. Water flows around obstacles. It changes shape to fit the container. If you are rigid like a rock, you might break when life hits you hard. But if you are flexible, like water, you survive and you keep moving. In English, we often use the phrase go with the flow. To go with the flow means to be relaxed and accept a situation rather than trying to control or change it. It is a very healthy attitude to cultivate. When you are learning a language, you have to be adaptable. Grammar rules change, slang changes, and you have to roll with the punches. To roll with the punches is an idiom from boxing. It means to move your body away from a blow to lessen the impact. In life, it means to adapt to difficulties. Now I want to introduce a concept called emotional granularity. This is a slightly advanced term, but it is fascinating. Granularity refers to the scale or level of detail present in a set of data. Emotional granularity is the ability to be very specific about what you are feeling. Instead of just saying, I feel bad, which is very vague, you might say, I feel disappointed. Disappointment is the sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. Or perhaps you feel frustrated. Frustration is the feeling of being upset or annoyed, especially because of inability to change or achieve something. Maybe you feel nostalgic, which we discussed earlier, or maybe you feel ambivalent. Ambivalent is a fantastic B2 word. It means having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. If you love your job but hate the commute, you are ambivalent about your job. Developing emotional granularity helps you manage your emotions better, because when you can name it, you can tame it. To tame means to make something less powerful or easier to control. Let's shift our focus to the idea of energy management. We often manage our time, but we forget to manage our energy. We all have a social battery. Your social battery is a metaphor for the amount of energy you have available for socializing. Extroverts gain energy from being around people, while introverts lose energy when they are around people and need to be alone to recharge. Knowing if you are an introvert or an extrovert is a key part of self-awareness. If your social battery is dead, you might feel drained or cranky. Cranky is a casual word meaning bad-tempered or irritable. It is okay to say to your friends, "I cannot go out tonight because my social battery is low." This is a respectful way to set a boundary. It shows you are prioritizing your well-being. Prioritizing means treating something as more important than other things. We should also discuss the power of habits. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. You cannot rely on motivation alone to learn English or to stay healthy. You need discipline and habits. A habit is something you do automatically, without thinking. We want to reduce the friction of starting a good habit. Friction is the resistance that one surface or object encounters when moving over another. In psychology, friction is anything that makes a task harder to start. If you want to run in the morning, put your shoes next to your bed. This reduces friction. If you want to learn English, keep your headphones on your desk. We call this environmental design. You are designing your environment to make success easier. We also talk about the 2-minute rule. This rule states that if a new habit takes less than 2 minutes to do it right now, or just do the first 2 minutes of a difficult task. Often, the hardest part is just starting. Once you start, you build momentum. Momentum is the impetus gained by a moving object. It is easier to keep moving than to start moving from a dead stop. Let's talk about the concept of journaling. I mentioned gratitude journals before, but there is also something called stream of consciousness writing. A stream is a continuous flow of liquid, air, or gas. Stream of consciousness means writing down whatever comes into your head without stopping, without editing, and without worrying about grammar. You just let the words flow onto the paper. This is a technique to purge your thoughts. To purge means to rid someone or something of an unwanted quality, condition, or feeling. It is like cleaning out a closet. You take everything out so you can see what is there. You might find that you are worried about something you did not even realize. In English, we call this a brain dump. It is not a very elegant phrase, but it is very descriptive. You dump the contents of your brain onto the paper. This creates clarity. Clarity is the quality of being coherent and intelligible. When you have clarity, you can make better decisions. Another important aspect of mental wellness is how we handle comparison. We live in the age of social media where everyone presents a curated version of their lives. Curated means selected, organized, and presented using professional or expert knowledge. People show their highlights, not their struggles. If you compare your behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel, you will feel inadequate. Inadequate means lacking the quality or quantity required or insufficient for a purpose. You might feel you are not good enough. But remember, comparison is the thief of joy. Stay in your own lane. To stay in your own lane is an idiom that means to focus on your own affairs and not worry about what others are doing. Your journey is unique. Unique means being the only one of its kind or unlike anything else. No one else has your brain, your background, or your experiences. Therefore, your English learning path will be unique too. Let's explore the word validation again. We seek validation from others, but true peace comes from self-validation. This means telling yourself that your feelings are valid. It means trusting your own judgment. Sometimes we suffer from analysis paralysis. This happens when you overthink a decision so much that you cannot make a choice. You are paralyzed by the analysis. In these moments, it is helpful to trust your gut. We discussed intuition earlier. Your gut instinct is often right. Another helpful phrase is done is better than perfect. We often delay finishing things because we want them to be perfect. But perfection is an illusion. An illusion is a thing that is or is likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by the senses. Perfection does not exist. Completion is better than perfection. If you write an essay in English and it has mistakes, but you finished it, that is a success. We should also talk about the concept of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts you. Forgiveness does not mean you agree with what happened. It does not mean you have to be friends with the person who hurt you. It simply means you are letting go of the resentment. You are freeing yourself. You can also practice self-forgiveness. Maybe you quit learning English for a year. Maybe you were lazy. Forgive yourself. Guilt is a heavy burden to carry. A burden is a heavy load. Put the burden down. Start from where you are today. Today is a fresh slate. A slate is a flat piece of slate used for writing on, typically in schools in the past. A clean slate or fresh slate means a new beginning without any record of past mistakes. Let's discuss the idea of a growth mindset versus a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is the belief that there is not enough to go around, not enough money, not enough success, not enough love. It makes you jealous and competitive. A clear abundance mindset is the belief that there is plenty for everyone. If your friend speaks great English, it does not mean you cannot speak great English too. There is enough success for everyone. When you operate from an abundance mindset, you are more generous. Generous means showing a readiness to give more of something, as money or time, than is strictly necessary or expected. You share your resources. You help others. This generosity creates a positive feedback loop. A feedback loop is a situation where the output of a system amplifies the system. Goodness creates more goodness. I want to touch on the physical sensation of anxiety again. Sometimes anxiety feels like a knot in your stomach. A knot is a fastening made by tying a piece of string, rope, or something similar. When you are stressed, your muscles tighten into a knot. To unravel this knot, we can use progressive muscle relaxation. This is a technique where you tense a muscle group, hold it, and then release it. You start with your toes and move all the way up to your head. Tension and release. It teaches your body what relaxation feels like. In English, we might say, "I need to loosen up." To loosen up means to become more relaxed and less serious. Let's talk about the importance of perspective. Perspective is a particular attitude toward or way of regarding something, a point of view. Two people can look at the same situation and see different things. One person sees a problem, the other sees an opportunity. We can choose our perspective. We can choose to look for the silver lining. The silver lining is a metaphor for optimism in the common idiom, every cloud has a silver lining. This means that even a bad situation has some good aspect to it. If you lose your job, maybe the silver lining is that you finally have time to study English or find a career you actually love. Finding the silver lining takes practice, but it builds resilience. We should also discuss the concept of boundaries in terms of information. We are constantly consuming content. To consume means to use up or to eat or drink, but in this context, it means to watch, read, or listen to media. If you consume negative news all day, you will feel negative. You have to curate your feed. Your feed is the stream of content you see on social media. Follow accounts that make you feel good. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad. This is digital hygiene. Hygiene refers to conditions or practices conducive to maintaining health and preventing disease. Digital hygiene prevents mental disease. It keeps your mind clean. Let's talk about the word empathy versus sympathy. Sympathy is feeling pity or sorrow for someone else's misfortune. You say, "I am sorry you are in pain." Empathy is deeper. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. You feel the pain with them. You say, "I can imagine how hard that must be." Empathy builds connection. Connection is what we are all looking for. Language is just a tool for connection. We learn grammar and vocabulary so we can connect with other human beings. Never forget that the goal is connection, not perfection. If you can connect with someone, even with broken English, you have succeeded. Another important topic is the fear of judgment. We are terrified of being judged. But the truth is, most people are not thinking about us. They are thinking about themselves. And if someone does judge you for making a mistake while learning a second language, that says more about them than it does about you. It shows they lack empathy. It shows they are narrow-minded. Narrow-minded means not willing to listen to or tolerate other people's views or prejudiced. You are the brave one. You are the one stepping out of your comfort zone. Wear your mistakes like badges of honor. A badge of honor is a mark or expression of pride. Every mistake is proof that you are trying. Let's explore the concept of mindfulness in eating. We often eat while watching TV or looking at our phones. We do not taste our food. Mindful eating means paying attention to the flavor, the texture, and the smell of the food. It means eating slowly. It improves digestion and satisfaction. In English, we say savor the flavor. To savor means to taste good food or drink and enjoy it completely. You can savor a meal and you can savor a moment. If you are having a nice time with friends, savor it. Be present. Do not worry about when it will end. Just enjoy it while it is happening. We also need to talk about the seasons of life. Life is not always summer. Sometimes it is winter. In winter, things are quiet, cold, and dark. But winter is necessary for the spring to come. If you are in a winter season of your life where things feel stagnant or sad, do not panic. Stagnant means showing no activity or dull and sluggish. It feels like you are not moving. But underground, the roots are growing. You are preparing for spring. Trust the timing of your life. Do not rush the seasons. In English, we say everything happens for a reason. Whether you believe that or not, it can be a comforting thought. It helps us accept the difficult times. Let's discuss the power of saying no. We talked about this before, but it is worth repeating. Saying no to others is often saying yes to yourself. You do not have to justify your number. To justify means to show or prove to be right or reasonable. You do not need to give a long excuse. You can just say, no, thank you, or I am not available. That is a complete sentence. Protecting your time is a sign of self-respect. If you respect your time, others will respect it too. I want to introduce the word serenity. Serenity is the state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled. There is a famous prayer called the Serenity Prayer, which asks for the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. We gain wisdom through making mistakes. So do not regret your mistakes. They are the stepping stones to wisdom. A stepping stone is a raised stone used to help cross a river or wet area. Each mistake helps you cross the river of ignorance to the shore of wisdom. Let's talk about the concept of grounding. When you feel like your head is in the clouds, you need to ground yourself. To have your head in the clouds means to be oblivious to reality or to be daydreaming. Grounding brings you back to earth. You can do this by walking barefoot on the grass. This is literally connecting with the earth. Or you can hold a warm cup of tea and focus on the heat in your hands. Grounding makes you feel stable. Stable means not likely to change or fail or firmly established. We all want to feel stable and secure. We should also discuss the idea of a mentor. A mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor. Finding a mentor for your English learning or your career can be very helpful. They have walked the path before you. They can guide you. To guide means to show or indicate the way to someone. But remember, a mentor is not a savior. You still have to do the work. You are the driver of your own car. They are just the map. You have to press the gas pedal. The gas pedal is the pedal that makes the car go faster. You are in control of the speed. Let's reflect on the word appreciation. Appreciation is the recognition and enjoyment of the good qualities of someone or something. Appreciate your progress. Look at how far you have come. A year ago, maybe you could not understand this podcast. Now you can. That is huge. Do not belittle your achievements. To belittle means to make someone or something seem unimportant. Do not say, oh, it is just a little thing. No, it is a big thing. Celebrate it. Moving forward in our discussion, let us start by distinguishing between two words that are often used interchangeably, which are happiness and joy. Happiness is often dependent on external circumstances. You are happy when you buy a new phone or when the sun is shining, but happiness can be fleeting. Fleeting means lasting for a very short time. It comes and goes like the weather. Joy, on the other hand, is deeper. Joy is an internal state of peace and contentment that exists even when life is difficult. You can feel joy even when you are having a hard day because you know you are safe and loved. In mental wellness, we try to cultivate joy rather than chasing happiness. To chase means to run after something to catch it. Chasing happiness can be exhausting. Cultivating joy is sustainable. Sustainable means able to be maintained at a certain rate or level. We want a sustainable practice of well-being. This brings us to a very modern concept called FOMO. FOMO stands for the fear of missing out. It is that anxious feeling you get when you see your friends having fun on social media without you. You think they are having a better time than you. This creates anxiety and jealousy. But there is a cure for FOMO, and it is called JOMO. JOMO stands for the joy of missing out. This is the satisfaction of knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, even if you are just sitting at home in your pajamas. It is the pleasure of saying no to plans so that you can recharge. Embracing JOMO is a huge act of self-care. To embrace means to accept or support a belief or theory willingly and enthusiastically. Embrace the quiet, embrace the missing out. You are not missing out on life. You are living your own life. Let's talk about the concept of the inner child. In psychology, the inner child is an individual's childlike aspect, including what we learned and experienced as children. Sometimes, when we are stressed or scared as adults, it is actually our inner child who is reacting. Maybe your inner child feels unsafe or ignored. Part of mental wellness is learning to reparent yourself. To reparent means to give yourself the love and support that you maybe did not receive as a child, or simply to comfort yourself. You can talk to your inner child. You can say, "I am here for you, you are safe, and I love you." It might sound strange, but it is very healing. Healing is the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. We often do things that our inner child enjoys, like coloring, playing games, or eating ice cream, to feel better. This is called play therapy. Play is not just for kids. Adults need play too. We should also discuss the idea of toxic relationships. A toxic relationship is a relationship that is characterized by behaviors on the part of the toxic partner that are emotionally and, not infrequently, physically damaging to their partner. If someone makes you feel small, confused, or constantly drained, that is a toxic dynamic. Dynamic refers to the forces or properties which stimulate growth, development, or change within a system or process. In a relationship, the dynamic is how you interact. You have the right to walk away from toxic dynamics. In English, we say burn bridges. To burn bridges means to destroy one's path, reputation, or opportunities so that one cannot return. Usually, we are told not to burn bridges. But sometimes, with toxic people, you have to burn the bridge to save yourself. You have to cut ties. To cut ties means to end a relationship or connection. It is painful, but sometimes necessary for your peace. Let's move to a lighter topic, which is the concept of serendipity's cousin, synchronicity. Synchronicity is the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. It is a meaningful coincidence. For example, you are thinking about a specific English word, and then you turn on the radio and hear that exact word. That is synchronicity. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, believed these moments were messages from the universe. Whether you believe that or not, noticing synchronicities makes life feel magical. It makes you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. It encourages you to pay attention. To pay attention means to focus your mind on something. When you pay attention, you see that the world is full of interesting connections. We often talk about the phrase, finding your voice. In language learning, this is literal. You are finding your English voice. But in mental wellness, finding your voice means learning to express your true thoughts and feelings without fear. Many of us are people pleasers. A people pleaser is a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. People pleasers are afraid to speak up. To speak up means to express one's opinion, especially when it is unpopular. But if you never speak up, you become invisible. You matter. Your opinion matters. Finding your voice takes practice. Start small. Say I disagree with that politely. Say I would prefer Chinese food instead of Italian. These small assertiveness exercises build your confidence. Assertiveness is the quality of being self-assured and confident without being aggressive. Let's explore the concept of emotional baggage. Baggage usually refers to suitcases you carry when you travel. Emotional baggage refers to the unresolved emotional issues from your past that you carry around with you. If you had a bad teacher in school who said you were stupid, you might carry that baggage into your English learning today. You might be afraid of teachers. Part of self-care is unpacking your baggage. To unpack means to open a suitcase and take the things out. We unpack our emotional baggage by talking about it, writing about it, or going to therapy. We look at the old belief, realize it is not true anymore, and throw it away. You do not have to carry heavy bags forever. You can travel light. To travel light means to bring very little luggage. In life, traveling light means letting go of old grudges and fears. We should also talk about the Sunday scaries. This is a very popular pop culture term. The Sunday scaries refers to the anxiety or dread that sets in on Sunday afternoon or evening before the upcoming work or school week. You might feel your stomach turn. To have one's stomach turn means to feel nauseous or disgusted, or in this case, very nervous. To combat the Sunday scaries, you can create a Sunday ritual. Maybe you prep your meals for the week. To prep is short for prepare. Maybe you pick out your clothes. This preparation gives you a sense of control. You can also plan something fun for Monday evening. If you have something to look forward to, Monday does not seem so bad. To look forward to means to await eagerly. I look forward to my Monday coffee. Let's discuss the concept of imposter syndrome's opposite, which is the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a cognitive bias where people with low ability at a task overestimate their ability. But as English learners, you are usually on the other side. You underestimate yourself. You know enough to know that you do not know everything. This is actually a sign of intelligence. Socrates said, "I know that I know nothing." So if you feel like you don't know enough, take it as a compliment to your own awareness. You are aware of the vastness of the language. Vastness means the quality of being very great in extent or quantity. The ocean is vast. The English language is vast. Do not be intimidated by the vastness. To be intimidated means to be frightened or overawed, especially in order to make them do what one wants. Just swim in your little part of the ocean. We also need to talk about the power of visualization. We touched on this, but let's go deeper. Athletes use visualization to win medals. You can use it to learn English. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking fluent English. Imagine the situation. Who are you talking to? How do you feel? Do you feel proud? Do you feel relaxed? Your brain cannot always tell the difference between a vivid imagination and reality. Vivid means producing powerful feelings or strong, clear images in the mind. If you vividly imagine success, you prime your brain for it. To prime means to prepare something for use or action. You are priming your brain to speak English. This reduces anxiety when the real moment comes because your brain feels like it has done this before. Let's talk about the word resilience in the context of failure. We are terrified of failure, but failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. You cannot learn a language without failing thousands of times. Every time you use the wrong verb tense, that is a mini failure. But it is also a data point. A data point is a piece of information. It tells you what you need to study. So redefine failure. Redefine means to define again or differently. Redefine failure as feedback. Feedback is information about reactions to a product, a person's performance of a task, etc., used as a basis for improvement. If you see mistakes as feedback, they lose their power to hurt you. You can say, "Thank you for the feedback," and move on. Let's discuss the concept of holding a grudge. To hold a grudge means to maintain a persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. Grudges are heavy. They occupy space in your mind that could be used for learning English. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. It means stopping the pain from controlling you. There is a phrase, "Let bygones be bygones." This means to forgive and forget past offenses and causes of conflict. It is a very old and wise saying. Let the past stay in the past. Focus on the here and now. The present is called the present because it is a gift. We should also explore the idea of emotional intelligence, often called EQ. IQ is your intellectual intelligence. EQ is your ability to understand and manage your own emotions and those of the people around you. For learning a language, EQ is arguably more important than IQ. You need EQ to read social cues. A cue is a signal. If someone looks confused when you speak, that is a social cue. You need to adjust your language. You need EQ to manage your frustration. Developing EQ involves self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to monitor and manage your energy states, emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. When you feel angry because you cannot remember a word, self-regulation helps you take a breath instead of quitting. Let's talk about the concept of a support system. A support system is a network of people who provide an individual with practical or emotional support. Who is in your support system? It could be a teacher, a study partner, a family member, or an online community. You do not have to do this alone. Asking for help is a skill. Many of us are too proud to ask for help. We think we should be independent. But humans are interdependent. Interdependent means dependent on each other. We need each other. If you are struggling with a grammar point, ask for help. If you are feeling sad, ask for a hug. A hug is a squeeze with arms to show affection. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. We also need to mention the importance of celebrating milestones. A milestone is a significant stage or event in the development of something. In the old days, stones were placed on the side of the road to mark the miles. Today, a milestone is a big achievement. Maybe finishing this podcast series is a milestone. Maybe reading your first book in English is a milestone. When you reach a milestone, celebrate. Do something nice for yourself. This reinforces the behavior. To reinforce means to strengthen or support. You are telling your brain, "Good job, let's do that again." Let's discuss the concept of minimalism in thought. Just as we can have a cluttered room, we can have a cluttered mind. We worry about things that might never happen. We replay old conversations. This is mental clutter. Mental minimalism is about keeping your thoughts simple and focused. Ask yourself, is this thought useful? If not, let it go. Imagine your thoughts are clouds passing in the sky. You are the sky. The clouds come and go, but the sky is always there. You do not have to chase every cloud. You can just watch them pass. This is the essence of meditation. Essence means the intrinsic nature or indispensable quality of something. We should also talk about the power of affirmations again. I want to give you some specific affirmations for language learners. You can repeat these after me. I am a confident speaker. Mistakes help me learn. I have a voice worth hearing. My English is getting better every day. Say these to yourself in the mirror. It feels silly at first, but it works. It changes your self-image. Your self-image is the idea one has of one's abilities, appearance, and personality. If you see yourself as a bad learner, you will be a bad learner. If you see yourself as a dedicated learner, you will succeed. Let's talk about the biological concept of circadian rhythms. Your circadian rhythm is your internal body clock. It tells you when to sleep and when to wake up. Respecting your rhythm is crucial for mental health. If you are a night owl, meaning someone who likes to stay up late, do not force yourself to study at 5 a.m. If you are an early bird, meaning someone who wakes up early, do your hardest tasks in the morning. Work with your biology, not against it. When you fight your nature, you create stress. We also need to discuss the dangers of multitasking. Multitasking is dealing with more than one task at the same time. We think multitasking makes us productive, but research shows it actually makes us slower and dumber. Your brain cannot focus on two things at once. It just switches back and forth very quickly. This switching uses a lot of energy. It leads to brain fog. Brain fog is a condition of mental confusion and lack of clarity. To practice self-care, try monotasking. Mono means one. Do one thing at a time. If you are listening to this podcast, just listen. Do not check your email. Do not wash the dishes. Just listen. You will understand more and remember more. Let's talk about the concept of savoring. To savor means to taste and enjoy it completely. But we can savor experiences too. If you have a good conversation in English, savor the feeling of connection. Replay it in your mind. Feel the pride. This helps to lock the memory in. It increases your life satisfaction. Life satisfaction is an overall assessment of feelings and attitudes about one's life at a particular point in time. Savoring the good moments balances out the bad ones. I want to address the feeling of stagnation. Stagnation is the state of not flowing or moving. Sometimes in language learning, you hit a plateau. A plateau is an area of relatively level high ground. In learning, it means a period where you do not seem to be making progress. This is normal. It happens to everyone. Do not quit on the plateau. The progress is happening, but it is invisible. It is like bamboo. Bamboo grows underground for years before it shoots up. You are in your root growing phase. Trust the process. Let's explore the word wholesome. Wholesome means conducive to or suggestive of good health and physical well-being. We often use it to describe content that is pure, kind, and positive. Watching a video of a puppy is wholesome. Helping a neighbor is wholesome. Consuming wholesome content is good for your soul. It reminds you that there is good in the world. In a world that can be dark, look for the wholesome things. We should also talk about the difference between reaction and response. A reaction is instant and emotional. It is a reflex. A response is thoughtful and deliberate. When something bad happens, we usually react. We get angry or sad immediately. Mental wellness is about creating a gap between the trigger and the action. In that gap, we choose our response. Instead of yelling, we choose to breathe. Instead of quitting, we choose to rest. This gap is where your freedom lies. Let's discuss the concept of paying attention to your body language. Your body language communicates to others, but it also communicates to your own brain. If you stand tall with your head up and your shoulders back, you feel more confident. This is called a power pose. Even if you feel scared, taking a power pose can change your hormones. It lowers cortisol and raises testosterone. So, before you have to speak English, stand like a superhero. It sounds funny, but it works. I want to touch on the idea of beginner's mind. In Zen Buddhism, this is called shoshin. It refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, and lack of preconceptions when studying a subject, just as a beginner would. Even if you are an advanced learner, try to keep a beginner's mind. Be curious. Ask questions. Do not assume you know everything. A beginner's mind is fresh and enthusiastic. An expert's mind can be closed and bored. Stay a beginner in your heart. Let's talk about the importance of hydration. Hydration is the process of causing something to absorb water. Your brain is mostly water. If you are dehydrated, you cannot think clearly. You might get a headache. Drinking water is the simplest form of self-care. It is cheap and effective. Keep a water bottle with you. Sip it throughout the day. Your brain will thank you. Now, as we bring everything together, let us focus on the concept of the future self. Psychologists say that many of us view our future self as a stranger. We do not feel connected to the person we will be in 5 or 10 years. But building a relationship with your future self is essential for motivation. I want you to close your eyes for a moment if you can. Visualize the version of you who is fluent in English. Visualize the version of you who is calm, confident, and kind. How does that person walk? How do they talk? How do they treat others? That person is not a stranger. That person is you, waiting to happen. Every time you study, every time you practice self-care, you are sending a gift to your future self. You are making their life easier. In English, we might say you are paving the way. To pave means to cover a piece of ground with concrete or stones to make a smooth road. You are paving the road for your future self to walk on. This brings us to the idea of a manifesto. In the last episode, I mentioned we would create one. A manifesto is a public declaration of policy and aims. It sounds very official, but it can be personal. A personal manifesto is a statement of your core values. It is a list of rules that you choose to live by. Writing a manifesto for your English journey can be very powerful. It could say things like, I allow myself to make mistakes. I prioritize connection over perfection. I am a lifelong learner. I treat myself with respect. When you write these things down, you make a contract with yourself. A contract is a written or spoken agreement. Do not break the contract you make with yourself. You are the most important person you will ever make a promise to. Let's explore the word holistic. You often hear about holistic health. Holistic is characterized by the belief that the parts of something are intimately interconnected and explicable only by reference to the whole. A holistic approach to English does not just look at grammar books. It looks at your sleep, your mood, your nutrition, and your relationships. If you are tired, your English suffers. If you are lonely, your motivation suffers. Everything is connected. You cannot separate the learner from the human. You are a human being first and a student second. Therefore, taking care of your humanity is the best way to become a better student. We call this integration. Integration is the action or process of combining things so that they become a whole. We want to integrate English into your life, not just have it be a chore you do for 1 hour. We should also discuss the concept of emotional labor. Emotional labor is the process of managing feelings and expressions to fulfill the emotional requirements of a job or relationship. Learning a language involves a lot of emotional labor. You have to manage your embarrassment when you make mistakes. You have to manage your frustration when you do not understand. This is real work. If you feel tired after a conversation class, it is not just because of the vocabulary, it is because of the emotional labor. Acknowledge this. Give yourself credit. To give credit means to acknowledge an accomplishment. Give yourself credit for the hard, emotional work you are doing. Let's talk about compassion fatigue. This usually applies to doctors or nurses who care so much that they get tired, but it can apply to us too. If you are constantly trying to be perfect and constantly criticizing yourself, you will get compassion fatigue toward yourself. You will stop caring. To prevent this, you need to refill your well. We used the metaphor of the cup earlier. Now imagine a deep well of water. If you draw water every day, but it never rains, the well runs dry. What is your rain? What fills you up? Is it silence? Is it music? Is it laughter? Make sure you are refilling your well regularly so that you can keep giving to yourself and others. I want to introduce the Japanese concept of ikigai. This is a beautiful term that roughly translates to a reason for being. It is the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Finding your ikigai is the secret to a long and happy life. How does English fit into your ikigai? Maybe it allows you to help more people. Maybe it allows you to access information that you love. When you connect your language learning to a deeper purpose, it becomes easier. It stops being a task and starts being a mission. A mission is an important assignment carried out for political, religious, or commercial purposes, or typically a strong sense of calling. Make English part of your life's mission. Let's discuss the non-linear nature of progress. We often think success is a straight line going up, but in reality, it looks like a squiggly line. There are ups and downs, loops and twists. Sometimes you go backward to go forward. This is called regression. Regression means a return to a former or less developed state. Sometimes you might feel like your English is getting worse. This is usually a sign that your brain is reorganizing information. It is the darkness before the dawn. The dawn is the first appearance of light in the sky before sunrise. Trust that the dawn is coming. Do not panic during the regression. It is just part of the cycle. We also need to talk about autonomy. Autonomy is the right or condition of self-government. In learning, autonomy means you take responsibility for your own journey. You do not wait for a teacher to tell you what to do. You decide. You choose the topics you enjoy. You choose the time you study. When you have autonomy, you feel more motivated because you are in control. You are the captain of the ship. The teacher is just the lighthouse. The lighthouse shows you where the rocks are, but you steer the wheel. To steer means to guide or control the movement of a vehicle. Steer your own ship with confidence. Let's reflect on the word authenticity. Authenticity is the quality of being real or true. We are often afraid to be authentic in a second language because we feel like a child. We cannot express our complex personality, but true friends will see your authenticity even through simple words. You do not need big words to be kind. You do not need complex grammar to be honest. Your eyes, your smile, and your tone of voice communicate your authenticity. Do not hide behind the language. Let the language be a bridge, not a mask. A mask hides your face. A bridge connects you to others. Be a bridge builder. We should also discuss the concept of legacy again. What is the legacy of this learning journey? Maybe your legacy is that you showed your children that it is never too late to learn. Maybe your legacy is that you broke a barrier in your career. A barrier is a fence or other obstacle that prevents movement or access. By learning English, you are breaking barriers. You are becoming a global citizen. A global citizen is someone who identifies with being part of an emerging world community and whose actions contribute to building this community's values and practices. You are expanding your tribe. A tribe is a social division in a traditional society consisting of families or communities, but informally it means your group of people. Your tribe is now the whole world. Let's talk about the idea of sovereignty. Sovereignty typically refers to the authority of a state to govern itself. But personal sovereignty means you are the ruler of your own mind. You decide what thoughts are allowed in. If a negative thought tries to enter, you can say, "Halt, you are not welcome here." To halt means to stop abruptly. You have the power to curate your mental space. We talked about decluttering your room. You can declutter your mind too. Throw out the thoughts that say you are not good enough. They are just trash. Keep the treasures. The treasures are the thoughts that say, "I am capable and I am growing." I want to revisit the concept of flow one last time. Flow is that magical state where time disappears. To find flow in English, you must lower the difficulty to match your skill, or raise your skill to match the difficulty. If a task is too hard, you get anxious. If it is too easy, you get bored. Flow happens in the middle. This is called the Goldilocks zone. It is not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Always try to find your Goldilocks zone in studying. If a movie is too hard to understand, turn on the subtitles or choose an easier one. Do not suffer unnecessarily. Suffering is not a requirement for learning. Enjoyment is a much better fuel. Fuel is material such as coal, gas, or oil that is burned to produce heat or power. Use joy as your fuel. Let's discuss the art of letting go. Sometimes we hold on to specific goals too tightly. I must be fluent by December. This creates stress. Practice detachment. Detachment is the state of being objective or aloof. It means you do the work, but you are not obsessed with the result. You plant the seed, you water it, but you do not scream at the flower to grow faster. The flower has its own timing. You have your own timing. Respect it. In English, we say patience is a virtue. A virtue is a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. Patience is the ability to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Be virtuous, be patient. We also need to talk about gratitude for the language itself. English is a crazy, messy, beautiful language. It has borrowed words from French, German, Latin, and Greek. It is a melting pot. A melting pot is a place where different peoples, styles, theories, etc. are mixed together. Because English is a mix, it is flexible. It is forgiving. Appreciate the tool that you are sharpening. To sharpen means to improve or cause to improve. You are sharpening your mind. You are keeping your brain young. Research shows that bilingualism protects against aging in the brain. So you are not just learning words, you are protecting your future cognitive health. Cognitive relates to the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding. Let's explore the concept of stillness. In our busy world, we are afraid of silence. But in silence, we find answers. Try to sit in stillness for 5 minutes a day. No phone, no English, no music. Just be. This resets your nervous system. It allows the information you learn to settle. To settle means to become clearer, quieter, or more stable. Imagine a jar of muddy water. If you shake it, it is cloudy. If you let it sit, the mud settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. Your mind is the same. Let the mud settle. Find your clarity. I want to talk about the ripple effect one more time. You have no idea who you are inspiring. Maybe someone hears you speaking English on the phone and thinks, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. You are a lighthouse. You are shining a light for others just by trying. Never underestimate your impact. To underestimate means to estimate something to be smaller or less important than it actually is. You are powerful. Your effort is powerful. As we approach the very end of this series, I want to give you a final visualization. Imagine you are standing at the top of a mountain. You look down and see the path you climbed. It was steep. There were rocks. There were moments you wanted to turn back, but you didn't. You kept climbing, and now look at the view. The view is your new perspective. You can see further now. You understand more now. The air is fresh. Take a deep breath of that mountain air. You earned this view. Feel the pride swelling in your chest. To swell means to become larger or rounder in size. Let your heart swell with pride. Now I want to give you a final challenge. Not a homework assignment, but a life assignment. My challenge to you is to be your own best friend. When you wake up in the morning, greet yourself with kindness. When you go to sleep, thank yourself for the day. Treat yourself like the precious, valuable human being you are. English is just a skill. You are the masterpiece. A masterpiece is a work of outstanding artistry, skill, or workmanship. You are a work of art in progress. Thank you. Thank you for your time, which is your most valuable resource. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for letting my voice into your head and your heart. It has been an absolute honor to be your guide on this long journey. An honor is a privilege. I feel privileged to help you. If you have listened to this entire series, from the first word to this very moment, you are part of the elite. Not elite in money, but elite in discipline. You have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. Please, one last time, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us keep this community alive. And for the final comment of this series, I want you to write your manifesto. Just one sentence. Write, I am ready for my future, or I am enough, or I choose joy. Let the comments section be a wall of positive declarations. Let's inspire everyone who reads it. This is the end of the series, but it is just the beginning of your new chapter. A chapter is a main division of a book. Turn the page. The next chapter is yours to write. Make it a good one. Make it full of adventure, learning, and self-love. I am Jessica from English in Advance. I believe in you. I am cheering for you. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care, be well, and keep shining. Goodbye, and thank you.